Hi, everybody. It's me, Charles Norman, Sports Solutions LLC. We are the creators of Athletic SOS. It is a software. You can use it absolutely no cost, and it will help you if you're trying to get an athletic scholarship for your athlete. Starting in the 9th grade, maybe even in junior high, go ahead and take the software. I give you down below a code. I give you instructions for how to use the code, and there's a little video down there that shows you kind of how it works. And so we can help them put themselves in position to be offered an athletic scholarship. And so in this one, I want to talk it gets kind of serious here because I've done this for a few years now, and December is that month where for high school seniors that uncomfortable reality check hits. And the reality check is that kind of nobody cares, and it hurts. It hurts these kids. I went through this a year. My daughter came out of her senior year. As you're coming out of the summer, you're feeling really good about your opportunities. You're a good player. I'm not talking about the parents or the kids that really are right on the edge of being able to play at the collegiate level. I'm talking about the kids that really can play, and they play really well, and they definitely can play at the collegiate level. And then you're coming out of that summer. You had a pretty good summer. You've got some letters coming in. You've got coaches calling your high school coach. They're coming to the games. It's feeling pretty good. And then somewhere around November, if you did not get invited to the homecoming game for the football, no matter what sport you're playing, if that college really wants you, you've got an invite to come down to the homecoming game for most sports. I'm just going to say for most sports. I don't know every sport. And so if you didn't get that call, things are a little bit off. And even if you did get that call, when you got there, you saw all the other recruits that were interested in coming to school, and some of them played your same position. So you don't know quite where you sit. And that's the number one thing that I think parents and high school seniors don't ask. Where do I fit in your plans? What number am I on your list? How interested are you in me? And they will tell you there's usually a 1 to 5 for most colleges, especially at the D1 level. They've got about 5 kids that they're really, really looking at, unless it's football, there could be more. But I'm just thinking at your position for the most part. And so if you're number 1, number 2, you got a pretty good chance. Sometimes they don't get the number 1 kid they want, they get the number 2 kid. But even number 3, you can slip in there. 4 and 5 are tough, so you need to have more schools available to you. And so what do you do about this? You know, because that really is the big question for us. What could happen is in your as the new year comes in, because it's holidays now, not a lot is going on, and so that early signing period's already happened. And if you got a chance to do the early signing and you took it, you can relax a little bit, right? You enjoyed the rest of your senior year, and you can kind of relax. You know where you're going to go, and you know what's going on. Now, unless you're a really high D1 player, sometimes you can hold out, don't do the early signing, and wait until next year and see what happens. There's another signing period coming up. But for most of you kids, that's not going to really pan out the way you thought it was going to pan out. If you didn't get the early signing or really good signal that you need to make a choice, then you may not get anything coming in next year. And when I started this pre-pandemic, pre-2020, I think we really got going in 2017, 2018. It was a little bit different. There weren't so many layers in between you and getting that athletic scholarship as a high school athlete. But now you have the kids that are in the transfer portal. You've got kids that go to these prep schools. You've got kids that are coming out of junior college. You've got kids that were redshirted that are already there, but they're not on the team yet. You've got all of these. There's just so much in between you and getting that scholarship that was not there before at the same level. Usually, it used to be the college coaches wanted that high school kid because they could bring them in, mold them into their system, and get them going. Now you've got kids that have a bigger social media following than you. You've got kids that are attached to another kid on a travel club team that I got to take this kid to get that kid. And so you don't even see all this stuff behind the scenes because that is you're in a blind spot. And this is one of the reasons I created Athletic SOS. So that you do and the other thing you don't know, maybe I didn't even have the grades to get into that school, or maybe my SAT or ACT score didn't match up to that school. Yeah, I don't need the SAT, ACT to play college athletics at the NCAA level anymore, but I don't know that I didn't take the test, so I can't even get in that school because they do require it to go to the school. All of these little things, and no one's going to tell you. And here's the worst part. All those coaches that were calling you, all those letters you were getting. And I don't know if you guys have gotten this before, but my daughter was getting letters every couple of months from the kids on the team, writing her and telling her all this cool stuff that they're doing and keeping them in touch. And we just wanted to let you know, hey, this is good. This is what we're doing this week. It's really cool. We're really excited about next week's game. I mean, she's getting this from multiple schools. But at the moment it was time for the basketball, for the early signing, crickets. maybe about 4 schools out of maybe say 20 that were really coming after her, that seemed like they were coming after her. And I know what ended up happening was that those other kids that they wanted that were ahead of her, because my daughter had one thing against her, and it was the fact that she was a point guard. Most schools don't need a point guard every year. They're not looking for that. And she could do other things, but that was her key position. And so that could happen to your kid too. But the interesting thing is the phones went dead. And so only 3 schools really kind of called and invited us to go to the way we kind of knew the homecoming game for their school. And so we only went to 2 of those. And then one of those was the one we needed. And you only need one. That is true. And I will stay with that. And it was one that I wasn't really necessarily interested in. But my daughter, when we went to the homecoming game, the way the girls treated her, she felt at home on the campus and all that, we were pretty good. And we got lucky. But I know a lot of the kids around her that from her school. Remember, at your school, you're the star. If you got a chance to get an athletic scholarship, you're the star. All the other families know your family. You guys kind of walk in, your family, your parents come in. They kind of got a little swag to them too. And they come in and everybody's asking them, oh, so where did Johnny, where are they going to sign? Where is Susie going to sign? And your parents are like, we don't know. And they don't even know what's going on. And then you start to talk to your high school coach. Hey, do you know what you think you can make this phone call for us, or try to find out? You try to make the phone call. Coach is not calling you back. The assistant coach is not calling you back. The recruiting coordinating coach is not calling you back. And they don't have to. Nobody called and said, hey, we're not interested. Why don't you go ahead and move on? And if you do get somebody on the phone, that's what they're going to tell you. Hey, don't wait for us. Go ahead. If you have another offer, take it. These are the conversations you start to have, and then the reality starts to hit in, and it hits in around the first, second week of December. And it's very sobering, and it's painful for your kid. And so what do? Well, I'm going to tell you that you do have one more chance, and it's probably going to be in the unsigned senior world. And you got to be on top of your game now. You got to know that what school do I qualify for, has my sport, offer athletic scholarships, and how do I get in line for that? And so that's what Athletic SOS does, and it doesn't cost you anything. Now, personally, you should have already done this, but that's not why we're here today. I just want you guys to know there's still opportunity for you. There's also the junior college opportunity for you. There's also the kids that are going to drop out that change their mind. The rules have changed now. The kids can change their mind and still play. And so some people will drop out and drop back in. So don't give up on the schools that you thought you had. They may come back to you, but don't depend on them. Let them know where you're going to be, and you start putting together your unsigned senior year. What kind of events are going on around you? What combine, showcases, viewing tournaments can you get to? And you let them know you're going to be there. You contact those schools. You use your high school coach. You use your travel club coach. And that's the other thing with the travel club programs. They kind of put you out the pasture. They really can't use you when the spring comes next year. They need the new kids that are coming in to start getting up so they can get ready for summer. You're not available for summer. You're a senior now. So these are the kind of things that you have to think about. And then your final thing is the possibility of playing at the junior college level, the community college level. That might have to be where your starting point is. Now, I know for most of the kids that I talk to and the families, all of a sudden the athletic piece doesn't make that much sense to them anymore. They need their kid to go ahead and move on and go to a 4-year school. I still don't get this. I made my son, I made him go to a junior college first, community college, actually worked out good for him, and then move on to a 4-year school. Because you can get some at a lower price, you can get some of those basic general education pieces out. I know this is painful for a lot of people. I know this is that wake up moment where you go, wait a minute, something's wrong. This is not fair. I did everything right from 5 years old all the way up to 17. You didn't do anything wrong. I'm telling you guys right now, sometimes your number just doesn't get called up. But if you can, and that's why I keep on saying you want to work this in a parallel world. If you took the youth sports journey in a different direction, all the other things you could have been doing, especially if you were good enough to play at the collegiate level, you just didn't get the scholarship offer, all that access you had coming through the youth sports world, did you take advantage of that? You should be at a school now that you know exactly what you want to do when you get there. You know how much money that occupation makes as you move forward. I'm going to go here anyway, even if I don't get the athletic scholarship, I'm going to go over here because this is another school that I'm interested in because they have X, Y, Z. Those are the kind of things we should be doing. And then that networking piece of it. If you went and really used your youth sports world to connect with people in different places, there's travel club coaches, there's parents on the other team that used to play at the collegiate level. They can speak up for you too. It's all about your network. I'm just telling you guys over and over again. But do not despair. Go ahead and get Athletic SOS. Go ahead and find out what schools you qualify. We're going to ask for your academic information, sports you play, the level you believe you can play at, and we're going to tie all that together. We'll show you the schools you qualify to attend, and there are tons of schools that would love to hear from you that did not get the kid that they want. They didn't get number 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. And so they're looking for a player, but they don't even know you exist. They're on the East Coast, you're on the West Coast. They're in the South, you're in the Midwest. And so they don't know you exist. And if you can get somebody to vouch for you, like your high school coach or your travel club coach, it may make all the difference as we move into the spring. There's some schools, there's going to be empty seats. Every single year there's empty seats on college campuses. Sometimes they're waiting for the next year, and sometimes they just didn't get anybody. And so they gave up for this year, and they'll take what they have now and work their way through it. Here's the other thing that's kind of really important on this. A lot of kids will get that athletic scholarship. What kind of feel did you get when you took this scholarship offer or you did the signing? Because a lot of times a coach will bring you into their school and they're really not thinking about playing you. Sometimes you just have great grades and you're going to bring the GPA up for the whole team, makes the team look good, makes the coach look good, makes the school look good. Sometimes they're bringing you in because of your size, your length, whatever, that they need you because there's a player in their conference or types of players in their conference that they need you to go against them in practice. They want you to go against the kids that they are going to play in practice. Now, that could be still a good thing for you. Over time, you may work your way into the lineup, right? So that could work out for you. And so sometimes they'll recruit you, keep you away from somebody else. And those are usually the homegrown teams that'll do that. They'll do that quite a bit. They'll come in, they'll take you, sit you on their bench, and then you can't go play for that other person. They have plans for you maybe as a junior and senior, but right now they're full at the spot that you would take, and maybe you can go in there and you can beat them out. But what you want to do is be wanted. You want to be the star, the prize for that school that picked you up. And you can kind of tell that in how they approach you, how excited they are that you chose them. And that is the world you want to be in. And I don't care what level it is. And sometimes you may have to go down a level with the transfer portal now. Maybe you're a D1, mid-major, maybe you're a D2 kid. Maybe you go to D3 school, maybe you go to NAIA school, and nothing wrong with that, but maybe after a year or two, you see that your skill set shows you that's where you should have been. You should have been with the higher levels. Transfer, go to another school. You're never, ever stuck. I think I push this into my kids and my niece, my nephews, everybody comes in contact with me. When I start hearing that woe is me thing, I go, you're not stuck. You just have to figure out, okay, what are my steps to move forward? And the same thing happens in the rest of the world. And so I kind of want to do this. I didn't want to belabor this thing. I know it's painful for a lot of people because you're kind of confused right now. You got that glazed look. Forget what everybody else around you is talking about or what they're saying or what they're asking you. You're not a failure. You didn't mess up. You might have done everything perfect and you just didn't hit that time period. That number just didn't come up for you. That doesn't mean you're stuck. Now we got to go into overdrive to make sure you can try to recover here. And Athletic SOS is the best way to do it. I know it's my software. I know, of course you want me to use your software, but it will help you get started and then start talking with your high school coach, start talking with your athletic director, start talking with your travel club program that you were with or with any other program you're with. Start asking. Now it's time to open your mouth for the first time and be an adult about it. You're going to reach out. If you use Athletic SOS, I have a thing in there under media that talks about what happens if you don't get any help. Start doing that. And it's a very simple process, but it may be the difference maker to get you in. It's now start being proactive and not reactive. One of the biggest problems in high school for high school athletes and stuff, because you're getting all that feedback, all that positive feedback, you think you got it under control and you become reactive. You're trying to find out who wants me, who's recruiting me, come on to me. But you need to be proactive. Hey, here's where I want to be. Here's where I want to go. Here's why I want to be there. And so you let them know that you're interested in them. Then they become interested in you, because everybody who thinks that you're interested in, if somebody thinks that you're interested in them, of course they're going to look at you completely differently. Some people didn't even know they had a chance to get you. Some people don't even know you exist. You got to let the world know you're out there. That's what Athletic SOS is about. It's about you maturing as an individual, as a young person, and moving forward, but knowing where you want to be, who you are, where you want to go. That's my dream, is that if you can come out of that with that, and if you can build up a network as you go through it, your life's going to completely change. And it's going to be necessary moving forward. All right. I know I get on this high horse on this stuff. I see it happen with the kids in our area, the ones that play football, some of the basketball players. Some of them didn't get invited anywhere. And I know that difference. I went through this with my daughter. Those invites that we got to come to homecoming were the difference makers. Those were the kids that got the scholarships. And the kids that didn't get that, some of them may have made up, but usually they went to a lesser school initially, but at least they still got in. And so don't let the feeling be the key for you. Now is the time where you sort of mature up and you step up and you say, okay, so here's where we are. What are we going to do next? And that's where you want to get. And the good thing about it, like SOS, is if you put your information, your academic information in, we can at least tell you. We don't show you schools you don't academically qualify to attend. And so that's a good thing. You go, oh, okay, this makes sense now. This is not why we're not in there. Maybe you can go take the test again. Maybe call the coach. Maybe they didn't get who they want, but they just put you off to the side because you can't even get into school. They can't even take you to the admission office and say, hey, fix this. And so maybe that's the answer. But you need to know that. And if they're not, you can't call them, you can't contact them, you don't know. So these are kind of things that I want you guys to be on top of, and just keep moving forward, keep your head up. You're not done yet. If you want to continue playing, there's always a way to continue playing. You just got to figure out where that is and what that is. But don't just go to play. Put yourself in a position to be whatever you want to do after school and whatever you want to do in life, and that you're going to enjoy being on that campus. You're not just going to play. You're going to be living there. You're going to be living that world. So you want to make sure it's a place you want to be. All right, guys. As always, best of luck to you in all your endeavors. And keep your head up, you guys, and we'll talk to you next week.